Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! This is the card I'm making today. It uses So Eclectic and the Eclectic Layers Thinlits that coordinate. Both of these are just beautiful. The Eclectic Layers Thinlits, though, is kind of a special set. These two pieces cut out just the inside, leaving the flowers parts connected with the cardstock that you're cutting it with. If you want to cut out the whole flower, you need to use both pieces. That's also true for this diamond piece. I will also be using my Stamparatus. If you don't have your Stamparatus, you will be needing to wait till June, but June is coming up fast and I think you'll really want to get this tool. I have my card base Dapper Denim that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a scrap of rose red that needs to be at least 1 3/4 by 2.5. I have a piece of Whisper White that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. I have two pieces that are 5 1/4 by 4, and I have a piece of powder pink that is 5 1/4 by 4. And I also have some of this wonderful 1/2 inch finely woven ribbon in powder pink. My ink colors are Emerald Envy and Powder Pink. And I have to say that Emerald Envy and Dapper Denim are 2016-2018 in colors that are expected to retire in June, and I will be so sorry to see them go. I'm bringing in my Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is a wonderful tool. So I have made myself a shim made out of a magnet sheet, a piece of our grid paper, and a piece of window sheet on top of that so I can wipe it up clean. I've also heard you can put in foam or just a piece of cardboard, but just a little something to take up a little extra space. It does come with a foam mat. This is really for photopolymer stamps. So I'm going to put my cardstock here, and I am going to stamp the more solid flower, and the more solid, I'm calling this the upturned flower. Here is the upturned stem, and here are the leaves. And I'm just placing these so that it will be easier. These will both be green. These will both be powder pink, so I want to make it easy for myself to stamp them both at the same time. So I'm just going to flip those over, close up my plate, and pick those stamps up. And as long as I'm careful not to get my stamp pad close to the green stamped pieces, then I'm going to close this up and stamp. And this is actually going to be my template. I'm going to pull off this piece and then cut them out. As I move these out of the way, I don't want to move these stamps. Bringing in my Big Shot, I'm using my magnetic plate, but you could use the platform that comes with the Big Shot. I'm using my cut up plate, and I have that template that we're going to cut. I want to cut out this flower and the outside here. There's kind of a scallopy side here and then a cut in part here. That's where this V is. I want to be sure to get my stem centered on the green, and then I'm going to cut these three pieces out. Go ahead and keep this leaf. Keep these. You can certainly use those. And then we want to use the same framelit to cut this one out as well. This is the template we want to keep. from my powder pink. I want to put this centered pretty much the long way and close to the edge. This piece is an interesting piece. This will only emboss. It will not cut. And so we just want to set that here and run this through the Big Shot. Bringing in my Big Shot die brush, I'm going to want to use that. Do you see the embossing here? Isn't that pretty? And these pop right out, but die brush is going to be helpful for this and for some others. We're going to cut this, I'm calling it a lacy flower. I should be cutting these at the same time, but I wanted you to see what happens when you cut without that outside part. So you see it's all still connected. So to be sure I get it cut the right way, I am putting it back on there and putting this around and cutting it out the way I should have. And then you get this lacy part. I want 2 of those, so I'll go ahead and cut this one out the right way. Now I want to cut a lot of different pieces out, and I want to use this as efficiently as I can. So I'm going to set these in as close as I can and run that through. I want this lacy part, and I'm not going to use the stem for this one, so I'm going to just cut it out like that. So I have those 3 pieces that I cut out that were stamped. I have 2, I'm going to want at least 2 extra of the leaves and at least 1 extra of the large flowers, more if you want, 1 of these lacy ones. I cut this one out when I made the template, and I may or may not use it. And I'm bringing my Stamparatus back in. Because I haven't moved the stamps and I made that template, and I can put these pieces in like puzzle pieces. Just set them in. They were cut with the same dies, so they will fit. So I have them all in place. I will ink up my stamps again. And they will ink up my pieces. And I could stamp as many of these as I wanted to. So that's one of the wonderful features of the Stamparatus. And I'll bring back my card base and that layer that got embossed and cut. Set that down on my card base. Oh, I forgot to put my ribbon on, so let me do that right now. I needed a 5-inch piece of ribbon. And I wanted to wrap that around. And then I also needed a 4-inch piece. And this 4-inch piece, I just wanted to tie a knot. I want to put some leaves on, so I'm going to put adhesive on 3 sets of leaves. I always keep my liquid glue in a jar so that the glue is always at the tip. I want to put 1 set of leaves here, another one here, kind of accentuating the leaves that are embossed. On this flower, I want to snip off about where the ink is. I think the Oh So Eclectic bundle is oh so flexible. Lots of choices. I don't know if my camera actually recorded. I put the inside on the inside. This is just that piece of extra whisper white and a flower and stem on the inside with no dimensionals. If you would like the full directions for this project, I'll put the direct link for you right here on this video, or if you're on YouTube, look down in the video description below and I'll have the link there for you too. Talk to you soon. Bye.